Hey, everybody, welcome to Remove Logic Radio. I'm so glad you decided to tune in today to join me on this journey of removing logic. Why remove logic? Because God is not bound by logic or logistics. And I am an individual who helps people that are stuck get unstuck. Today, we're going to be talking about um, some things that may be a little bit uncomfortable for some, but some that are going to find it helpful. We're going to be talking about the logic of trauma. There's a scripture that I found as I was preparing for um, today's segment, Psalm 61 and 2. From the end of the earth, I will cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. So when I read that scripture, and I think thought about today's show, and what God had given me to do was to talk about the logic of trauma. And I was like, logic of trauma. So logic of trauma, referring to maybe the underlying patterns or mechanisms that govern how trauma affects individuals psychologically, emotionally, and physiologically, and even spiritually. Trauma can disrupt a person's sense of safety, stability, your ability to trust in yourself or to trust in others. Trauma often creates a lasting impacts on mental health, behavior, relationships, and understanding the logic of trauma involves recognizing its complex interplay with biological and psychological and social factors, as well as an individual's unique experiences and just our coping mechanisms. I was talking to our guest that's going to be on the show today, a dear friend of mine, Ricky Clark. Just invited him to come and share because he's always busy, always doing something in the community. And as we just begin to talk and just chat it up, so to speak, we just kind of fell on this subject, and so this was something that I think that needs to be talked about, the logic of trauma and removing the logic of that trauma by means that the Bible in that scripture, lead me to a rock that's higher than I, when we are overwhelmed, even underwhelmed, or even when we're dealing with things that are beyond, sometimes feels like our control. The scripture says, lead me to a rock that's higher than I. And just thinking about that passage of scripture, where we find ourselves, even coming from COVID and disrupted lives and lifestyles. Hold on one second. Disrupted lifestyles. Um, it's hard sometimes to look for normalcy in when there is no normalcy. Looking for something that uh, is gone, or even sometimes innocence that's taken away from us by trauma, and then you look for the innocence to be there when that innocence is no more, or looking for an understanding in something that sometimes our heart and our minds are hard to comprehend. So just today, I'm glad that you tuned in. I hope that somebody is going to be helped by the conversation that my guest and I are going to have today. So I just look forward to this conversation and seeing where it leads, because I'm just sure that somebody somewhere is going to be impacted greatly for a change to remove the logic of trauma, the logic of emotional scars, the logic of sometimes physical scars from trauma, the logic of just misunderstandings. Sometimes it's generational, sometimes it's just based on the experience that we have within our lives. But just the idea of that trauma itself, it has a logic, it has a language, it has some things that are programmed into our behaviors that cause us to act a certain way, a certain to react a certain way. When I think about logic, the logic of trauma, being programmed with beliefs and ideas that hold us back. And that's a particular part of the necessity, I think, of helping individuals get unstuck, because sometimes there are some ideals, there are some issues that are programmed into us either by in our childhood, or even some things that we endure as adults that program us into a belief that arrests sometimes our development and keeps us from moving in the direction that God had purposely planned. But how many of you know the enemy, he meant it for evil, but God will turn it for your good. It doesn't matter what you go through as long as you go through. And sometimes, even in our going through, we get stuck in a particular place or a particular situation, and our just the thought that I can't do any more than what I'm doing, and that this is my stopping place, when God is saying, no, this is a stepping place for you, and this is not where we need to just lay our hat, or even just just lay down and just take it all in, or just pancake it at this particular moment. And God is saying, no, I'm going to lead you to a rock that's higher than where you are right now. So I want to encourage you to stay on the journey with me. This is new for me. I stepped out on faith, as I said, but just stay on the journey with me, and let's see where this is going to take us, and let's see the people that are going to be impacted when we begin to remove logic and start to tear down some of the walls and some of the things that have plagued us, either in mental health, sometimes family drama and family situations. I'm not coming to tear down anybody's family today in our interview, but we do want to see you make it. We want to see you come out of some things that life has just kind of put you in. So I look forward to this journey, as I said, with Remove Logic. Today, you can see I am remote. I'm broadcasting from my home in Pflugerville, Texas. So this is new once again for me. I've had to train myself how to do remote and what apps and programs, and I had to run out last night, get a brand new computer because my computer was lagging and just moving kind of slow. And so I ran out and got a new computer so that we can keep the excellence with what God has given me to do and the responsibility to get this thing done. I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm learning things that are new. I'm learning myself and giving myself opportunities to grow and come out of some of my own stuck situations, and seeing that I'm able. I'm able because God is able. I'm able to do above and beyond. I'm able to do more than I even thought I would at 60. So as I said, we're going to be interviewing Ricky Clark today. I look forward to some of the interviews that we have that are coming up. There are people and places that I have met on my journey that this platform is a place for them to talk about their journey. And I believe that we are all integral. We all have a place in each other's lives. And sometimes the very things that we go through and come through so somebody else can know that they can do it too. I've learned that a backstory is the story. Not just the overcoming, but the things that you've had to overcome. It's that backstory sometimes that we need to dig deep into and see, not just when you look at celebrities and you see that they've made it, but if you learn that backstory is where we can find ourselves sometimes in commonality. Sometimes we can find ourselves in places where, hey, you know what, that was me. And if he made it, then I can make it. If she made it, then I can make it. If she can do it, then I can do it. So it's that backstory. And so I'm going to be talking to people coming up in the next few weeks. I am just excited about the interviews for Remove Logic, and the people that I'm getting just so many some positive feedback that it's affecting people's lives. They're encouraged, they're inspired. I'm encouraged and I'm inspired by just the guests that I have coming. I have people that are pivoting in their lives and learning how to readjust and reinvent yourself. And I'm meeting people that just have a story to tell, and this is a place. This is a place for stories to be told. So I'm looking forward to the interviews. I'm looking forward to the journey. I just hope that you guys, just take the journey with me. This is a ride. I I have the saying that, just take the ride and see where it leads you. And sometimes when we look and we say, well, hey, I don't know how or the what, but I think the hows and the what's are not our business. I think it's just the who, which is God that sent us, sent us in. So I just really want to encourage you to take the ride with me. Um, Hold on one second. I'm going to send a invite to our guest. Bear with me. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get Mr. Ricky Clark in here. I'm the tech person today, so I'm my own tech person today, so bear with me. Okay, he should be coming in just a few minutes. Okay, all right. So you got me for the next few minutes. He's asking to give him about 5 minutes. So we're going to keep on going with Remove Logic Radio. I also I have a special guest coming up next week, a dear friend of mine, and her story. She's a wonderful story. So I'm just looking forward to her coming in. And then I have another, I'm saying, I got a young lady coming in that's 70 years old, and she has a story to tell. She is reinventing herself at 70 and doing some major things. I'm looking forward to talking to her about the things that she needed to overcome and some logic that she needed to remove to be where she is right now. So just excited about the guests that are coming on Remove Logic Radio. Today, again, we're going to be talking about the logic of trauma. Uh, Trauma has its own language. And so we're going to be talking to Ricky Clark. He works with the students, some of the students in the Fort Worth ISD. He has a program that's called My Brother's Keeper for boys, and then My Sister's Keeper for girls. And he's doing some big things in Fort Worth ISD with the youth. I met Ricky Clark years ago. My son Devin, he was interested in being an entrepreneur, and Ricky had an entrepreneur program for students, and Devin went to he participated in this program, and so that was my initial I just getting to know Ricky. I've and as a pastor, I've met him, you know, different churches and different events. But this particular time where he had this program for teenagers that were interested in having their own business and just kind of giving them insight on being entrepreneurs was a wonderful program through the Black Chamber of Fort Worth. And it was every Tuesday and every Thursday from 4 to 6:30. And it was a lot of inner city youth, and it was a wonderful program. And he has kept up with Devin over the years. Devin went on to get his master's degree, and he and Ricky have stayed connected from high school to now. Devin is 32 years old, so he's a wonderful, wonderful person to connect with, to have in your life. If you're looking to connect, to do some things with students in Fort Worth, Texas, he is the man to reach out to. He also, as I said, is a pastor, but he just has an activist heart. He has a heart for the community, but more or less for the youth. And I just think it's a wonderful thing to pour into our youth because they are the next generation. And if we don't give them the tools to make it, you know, problem solve, conflict resolution, a lot of things that we've got to teach our youth because they're going to be the ones taking care of us and making decisions. So we better try to grab hold and teach them some things now. And I just think he's just somebody that is really, really busy and effective in the community. He really made a large impact on my son's life and a large impact on, I can say, my little family as a whole. So I really honor him for the works that he is doing. Hold on. I think he might be ready to come in.